Dear colleagues, good evening, everyone. Could you please give me some feedback whether you can hear and see me? Today, we are going to be working in the field, quote unquote. I'm in between two places. That's why I'm having this meeting in the field. So, colleagues, I hope you don't hear any external noises because I do, but if you don't, then everything is fine. People are saying everything is fine. Good evening. I can hear you well. Good. If you can see and hear me, we can start. Good. I would like to welcome you here today on the 25th of October 2025, and traditionally we're having our meeting dedicated to the development of the string transportation technology, and we're going to talk about a very interesting topic of interest to many of our partners and colleagues, but more about it later. So let's have a list of the most memorable and important achievements in the area of UST. Please give me your list of the most important milestones, achievements in the development of the string transportation technology. And after that, we will move on to a urgent or relevant question that many of our partners are asking, and we'll see whether it is relevant and whether it is correct in altogether. So let me help you out regarding the milestones. Well, first, friends, one of the biggest milestones is that the company has two ready commercial products, which is the urban and cargo transportation solutions, two products ready to be implemented. And the company wouldn't be able to do that without the certificates for different areas of activity, like management, like the bringing into operation the rolling stock, the bringing into operation of trucks, etc. And then Alexander says that one of the biggest milestones, recent milestones, is the energy safety certificate. Well, indeed, it took the company 8 to 9 years to produce two ready commercial products that are in the market. We know that about 2 years ago, the first commercial project was launched, and it transports thousands and tens of thousands of people every year, which proves the viability and applicability of our technology. Next, friends, this month, quite a lot of memorable events happened, and 2 meetings ago we discussed them with Dr. Unitsky together. You were there, I hope. And one of the biggest achievements was a meeting between the technical experts of Russia and Belarus at the highest level. And the meeting was held on the premises of EcoTechnoPark and Aquarel, where the high-ranking officials from the two states issued recommendations on using the string transportation technology in a project, infrastructural project, that would connect the capitals of two countries, Minsk and Moscow, and would also be part of the linear cities concept, which is one of the inventions of Dr. Unitsky. It is a huge achievement. It is a recognition at the highest level of the in the country where Dr. Unitsky spent most of his academic career. And in the 10, 11 years, the technology has the heart, or the HQ or the heart of the project is in Belarus, where the design bureau is, where Dr. Unitsky created that design bureau. And now that design bureau is considered or has the status of an R&D institute, which is a status that is given to very few institutions, and usually it's educational institutions and state-owned, whereas Dr. Unitsky's design bureau, is a for-profit organization, yet it has the status of R&D institute. That's quite meaningful. Another project that we would like to mention that is being worked on by the engineering company is a project in Belarus which will use the string transportation technology in a resort area. It's called Sosny, and now that order was placed by the president's administration itself. And it shows the level of recognition of the technology. And the first order for the string transportation solution was placed by EcoTechnoPark. We're talking about the EcoRL, and now we have a second order, which was placed by a state agency, which is Presidential Administration Office. And all of it tells us that the string transportation technology is developing actively and rapidly. And last meeting, when we had one of the 2 meetings ago, when we had Dr. Unitsky attending our broadcast, I was in Dubai, and Dr. Unitsky told us about our other achievements that were obtained. One of them was his recognition as a professor in one of the leading Dubai universities, and then also his company being added or joining the International Space Federation, along with NASA, Roscosmos, and other space agencies. So to me, the one before last meeting got quite a lot of views on YouTube. Well, of course, because Dr. Unitsky was there, and 90% of comments were given by people who appreciate the scale and the business that we're conducting here. And with a lot of excitement and admiration, they left their feedback with their emotions and feelings they have seeing the results in the development of the string transportation technology. But also, there was a handful of comments showing us that, or demonstrating that, a few investors of ours do not fully realize what we're all involved in and what we've invested into. They don't understand this technology because they are asking questions like why it's taking so long, when we're going to receive our returns. Some people said that they've been waiting for 8, 10, 11 years, well, depending on when an investor started investing their money. However, friends, I wanted to give you an example of a company that is on adjacent similar market and tell you how many years it took them, just to draw parallels, to show you how many years it took them to just launch one model of their car. And very often Dmitry Slusar is sharing quite interesting facts with me. People are saying there is no Hindi translation, and now you're giving me pluses. Dear colleagues, was Hindi absent only, or you couldn't hear me at all? Well, people are saying that you could hear me. And Ruslan is saying that Hindi was also always present. So guys, probably if you couldn't hear Hindi, it was surely a problem at your end, because you see our moderators and technical personnel are saying that translation has always been in place. So Dmitry shared an interesting piece of information about a billionaire who set up a company, Neo Automotive, I think it's called. And there is a very interesting story behind it. I've read that information and I wanted to share it with you. So let me give you some background first. As you know Land Rover company, right? And Defender is one of the models of Land Rover. So in 2016, Land Rover stopped producing that model that is called Defender. Jim Ratcliffe is a British billionaire, suggested or asked Land Rover to buy their plant that produces Defenders, the model of the car, because he was a big fan. And they turned him down. They didn't want him to sell that factory. So what happened next after that? Let me read it out to you. And then we will use that example. We will draw parallels to what we helped create. We helped Dr. Unitsky to create over that period of time. And then we'll consider the scale and the money spent between us and them. So the story of Ineos Automotive. So the origin of the brand. This company is one of the biggest chemical companies in the world, set up by Sir Jim Ratcliffe. After Land Rover stopped producing Defenders in 2016, Ratcliffe decided to produce that classic SUV on his own. And this how Ineos Automotive was born. So this company was set up in 2017. And here's an interesting fact. It's called Grenadier. The model is called. It was called Ineos Grenadier after the pub in London where Jim and his team conceived this idea. Their idea was to create a heavy-duty SUV to work in the country, like Toyota Cruiser or G-Class Mercedes. So how did they organize it all? This is very interesting. The car was designed with an Austrian company, the same company that assembles G-Class Mercedeses. So a billionaire who has a lot of money went to the Austrian company that assembles G-Class Mercedes, like Geländewagen, if you heard about it. And then, in other words, he went to a company that has already a lot of experience, engineering experience, in assembling cars. And they were asked to help him. So the production was set up in France, a facility bought from Daimler company. It's a affiliate company of Mercedes. So one of the facilities in France was bought. The engines used in that new car, Ineos, are from the BMW, sorry, 3-liter engines. The transmission box is 8-step transmission box. So what's curious about it? Or let's do the summary. A billionaire with a lot of money decided to create a car because he couldn't buy his favorite Defender model because it was put out of production. So he went to an experienced car producer or assembler who helped him create a new model of the car. And I asked myself how much time it took him to create that model of the car. So the idea was conceived in 2016 when the classic Defender was put out of production. Ineos was set up in 2017. The first prototypes appeared in 2020, and serious production started in 2022 in France. So from 2017 to 2022, it's 5 years. And what was the budget of the project? for just one model of the car. So, judging by the evaluations of British and German sources, the purchasing or buying of the facility and preparation cost around 1 billion euros. It's $1.1 billion, more or less. So, what does it include? The design of the body, the chassis, the testing in extreme conditions, 1.8 million of testing on the roads. So it took time, of course. Next, the creation of the production line in France of that model, certification in the EU, Great Britain, Australia, and Middle East. Usually, a new model costs $2-3 billion and takes 7 years, usually. So if a person wants to create a car to his liking and make money out of it, then that person needs to spend around 5 years. If we compare it to any other car making company that would like to issue a new model like Mercedes for an S-Class, or Toyota would like to produce a new Toyota or Land Cruiser, then it would take them 7 years and 1 billion euros. So let's see how much and on what the money was spent, the 1 billion euros spent to develop this new car model. So purchasing of the facility in France, 200 million euros. So it was bought from Mercedes-Benz. The entire production facility had to be re-equipped. A new welding line needed to be added, the painting shop, and then assembly and quality control. So the facility plus everything else, 200 million. Engineering design, 300 million euros, together with Magnus Taylor Company. And that company was responsible for the design of body, suspension, crash tests, and longevity tests. It was based on the BMW experience. There were also engineering companies involved from Germany and Great Britain. Then purchasing and licensing of components like from BMW and other companies, 150 million euros. 200 million euros for certification, 150 million euros for marketing, and we have 200 million for the production line, 300 million for engineering, 150 for components, testing and certification, 200 million. Marketing, 150 million, for a total of 1 billion euros for just one single car model. So friends, let's draw parallels here. Let's summarize it. So we're talking about a car model that was not developed from scratch, but was based on many years, dozens, hundreds of years of experience, like Mercedes. I think Mercedes is more than 100 years old. BMW was involved, the experience and expertise. Other adjacent producers who produced transmission boxes or gearboxes, etc. So they were creating a new car, but based on the many, many years of experience and expertise of giants in the car making industry. And it took them more than 1 billion euros and more than 5 years, which is considered quite fast as far as creating a new model is concerned. But we should take into account quite a lot of money, which is 1 billion euros. Then we should take into account that experienced developers were involved who didn't have to be taught from scratch. then ready production facilities were bought, etc., etc. And now let's see the history of the string transportation technology and what has been created so far. We know that the technology was created in 10 years because the engineering company, the Unitsky String Technologies Inc., was created in 2015 in Belarus with just one person on the staff, the creator of the technology himself, Dr. Unitsky. And Dr. Unitsky, from scratch, created an engineering school, created a team that numbers more than 1,000 designers and marketologists, lawyers, etc. But mainly it's technical personnel, engineers. And in 10 years, friends. And Dr. needs not set up creation without big producers such as it's a big company or other making company or in makers. No, he did everything on his own from scratch. So he created his own school from scratch. So what the other achieved that we add is that national standards for the string transportation. UST specialists. And we can see new professions being created from scratch that allow to scale up the string transportation technology, which is a huge deal, an important fact. Next, let's draw parallels. In that company that I was talking about, they bought a ready production facility, whereas Dr. Unitsky created his own production facilities and team from scratch that assemble the rolling stock. I think they have 16, a total of 16 models. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And all those models were created from scratch. And it's not something that was copied from other producers of cars. And it, Dr. Unitsky created something that didn't exist before. So what is the correct name for that model? Ineos Grenadier was just kind of copied from Land Rover Defender, whereas in Dr. Unitsky's case, every model of the rolling stock was designed from scratch. There was nothing to copy from. To copy a car model and then to bring it into production and scale up, they needed 5 years, a budget of more than €1 billion, in collaboration with giants in the market. Unitsky did everything from scratch. You see the difference? And when we see such comments or complaints that it's taking too long, dear colleagues, come on, considering the scale of what we're doing, and we're doing here, what? Creating not just a new car or not just creating a new train or part of the train. We are helping Dr. Unitsky create an entire sector. This is the scale we're talking about with far less money. At GTI raised a total a total of $250 million throughout the entire period, because we know that crowd investing is a fast developing tool. It helped implement that project. But of course, that platform doesn't come cheap, because we know that a lot of money is paid into the network, around 45% of the money raised. So, friends, to say that it's taking too long or it's taking too much money, just see how much money spent that billionaire. More than $1 billion to create just one car model, whereas Dr. Unitsky spent a couple hundred million to create an entire sector from scratch. And this is a huge achievement, which will, if it hasn't yet, make history. And it will be kind of a nonsensical achievement, something that's never been seen before. And I'm not just saying that. This is how it is. We had Google as our kind of, main giant. Now we have ChatGPT. And now you can use AI to gather information in similar areas, sectors, and see how much money, time they needed, successful or unsuccessful trials, to bring just one model into the market and to make sure that that model would bring money. Just compare it for yourselves and ask yourself a question. How much time it should take creating a new sector? And 10 years is not a lot of time. In that time, we have already two commercial projects, almost two, because I also already mentioned a project in Belarus, another one in Belarus, now Nepal. But unfortunately, due to current geopolitical situation, it has had to be put on hold. In Ukraine, there was another project, but it was had to be put on hold again because of the war. And now there are other projects in the pipeline too. Right now, I'm in Europe and I'm actively working on launching commercial projects in this region as well. And there will be commercial projects in Europe because there is demand for the technology here. So when people are saying or commenting in the YouTube comment section such things that is taking too much time, or when are we going to receive our returns, etc. Guys, we're not investing into a crypto or fast money making company that pays dividends right away. We have invested, at, especially in the first 3-4 years, into a startup, into an innovative company. And for me, it was clear from the get-go that it would take time. So it would be make it or break it. But if it makes it, if the company capitalizes the way it should, then it's going to be a very high return project, a very good financial output for me, for my family. Because, well, I'm sure that every investor who invested in the technology also realized, understood that. But in the first 3, 5, 7 years, well, 5 years on average, a lot of people unfortunately did not fully understand the sheer scale of the company and the scale of the technology of Dr. Unitsky. And they optimistically thought that the company would start paying out in 3, 5 years, but which was not realistic because, come on, such huge scale projects cannot be implemented in such a short period of time. It's a whole sector forming project. And let me reiterate, if we compare this project to something similar, like car making projects or train project, we are 2-3 steps ahead of any car making or train making project out there who are already have been in the market for dozens of years, hundreds of years, with lots of budget. So another comment was that Elon Musk, such a genius, etc., etc., he bought out Tesla in early 2000s because at first Tesla was a loss-making company and they received $13 billion of subsidies, of subsidy injections like loans, etc. Tesla didn't pay dividends. Tesla did not make a profit for 16 years. And it was just a car, where an internal combustion engine was replaced with a electric motor. No innovations there. And the company started making some good profits after 2 decades of existence, started showing some positive financial outcome. Whereas here we have a potential much bigger, understanding the entire depth of the engineering activities. And engineering company, usually any engineering company, makes already money when a project is launched, regardless whether this project is going to be finished or not, because 10-15% of the project cost is design works. And design works are done before the project is actually put into production or finished, before the first train starts moving. The company starts making money even before the project is fully implemented, before the construction is over, because design work is one of the first steps. For example, a project can cost $100 million. Engineering design work cost around 10-15%, depending on the number of stages. Well, even if it's 10%, then $10 million would be the income, the revenues of the engineering company, without even finishing the construction or going into the construction stage. And I give you example why sometimes projects are not do not even go into the construction stage. Well, first of all, it depends on the terms of office of the current mayor or governor. And for example, a mayor adopts a project, and then there is a budget allocated for it, like governmental budget, and they already start paying for the design. But then something happens. That mayor, that governor, for example, loses their office or is replaced with a new official, and the new official freezes the project because they don't like it or some other reason. But the company has already made money from the design works. So the revenues from design works minus the salaries and other operating costs equals net profit. That profit can be accumulated and reinvested. And now the company starts accumulating such projects in their portfolio. So based on the financial performance of 2025, 2026, 2027, if such model persists and more clients come over, and they will, we can hope to receive payouts with only one condition: if crowd investing continues as well. And we need to understand why. So tell me, why do you think crowd investing should continue while the company will start selling its ready projects or products like urban passenger and cargo transportation solutions? So why is crowd investing still important? I already mentioned it on numerous occasions, but I would like to hear your feedback right now. Please tell me, why do you think crowd investing is still important even when the company already started selling commercial products? Valentin or Valentina says we need to advertise, we need to have negotiations, etc. HP says to improve. Alexander says to further improve the technology, to build the remaining tracks, and to pay salaries. Well, let's sum it up. Marketing first, yes. Negotiations. The company has several marketing representative offices. The GTI company, it has several such representative offices. MENA region in Dubai, Indonesia, India, the United States. I think Europe as well, there will be a marketing office. Also, there is a representative office in Moscow to promote the technology in that region. So, friends, we have helped create with investing, crowd investing, a huge machine with more than 1,000 people that pays salaries to personnel, two huge land plots that also need to be paid rent for, use of licensed software that costs hundreds of millions of dollars, it's payment of taxes and lots of other costs. So on average, GTI company spends millions of dollars just to maintain what they already have. So let's simulate a situation. So we all want dividends, we all want payouts, but at the same time, we stop crowd investing. So what will happen in that case? The GTI group of companies and the engineering company UST will start receiving orders. Clients pay for the orders, and the company, when they receive that revenue, what will they spend that revenue on, in your opinion? So let's simulate a situation. Crowd investing stops. The company is on its own. So when the company will start receiving its revenues, what it will spend that revenues on if there is no crowd investing? So colleagues, let's be more proactive. We have quite a lot of people, more than 100. Alexander says to cover its costs. Correct. Not marketing even. To just cover its costs, like Alexander says. And then in this case, if the company spends its revenues to cover its costs, can we hope for payouts? Then I think the debit and credit side of the balance book will not be equal. I think there will be more cost than profit because with $1 million of cost per month, the company needs to earn more than 1 million per month to cover those costs. But I don't think the company has enough revenues to cover all the costs right now. But because the string transportation technology is evaluated at $400 billion, it means that the company has huge potential and it has 400 billion pre-IPO shares with 70 billion yet to be sold. So the company, by selling those 70 billion pre-IPO shares, can raise money to sustain its operations using the crowd investing, to sustain the operations of the engineering company, of the marketing offices, etc., etc. So by selling the pre-IPO shares, GTI has enough money to cover the costs of all those companies by increasing its authorized capital. So in other words, we cover the costs by selling pre-IPO shares. So the money received from selling the pre-IPO shares goes to cover the operating costs, which means that the revenues coming from the orders placed by the clients will be used to potentially pay out remuneration dividends to its investors. So only under that condition we can hope to receive payouts. if crowd investing continues. That's why, dear friends, I'm saying all the time that crowd investing has lots of years yet to be used. And I'm not talking about the crowd investing or the string transportation only, who have other technologies and inventions from Dr. Unitsky. Like Humus uTerra project, we can scale up the two already existing productions. We can raise funds for the EcoHouses, and we will have such an opportunity on our platform. We'll be able to raise funds for the high-speed project in the United States. We'll be able to raise funds for targeted projects too and become co-owners there. It is for this reason that we've launched a rebranding procedure, and we'll have a new marketing plan tailored to the needs of our active marketers or networkers. And we're also launching an augmented reality app, Admix Reality, to help our partners promote the technology. A very effective tool. Dmitry Slusar and Dmitry Slusar is the creator of that tool, held together the first focus group where people shared their results from using that app. Firsthand, you can hear yourselves. A lady, Alfia, had used that app to immediately sign up 11 people. 10 of them bought packages right away. That tool was very effective also during negotiations, high-level negotiations too. Moreover, very soon there will be a big meeting between Dr. Unitsky and the high-ranking official in MENA, and that Admix Reality app will be used during the negotiations as well, and we will be waiting for some good news about that negotiation. So I will be waiting for news from Dr. Unitsky, because if the outcome is positive, it will open up completely new prospects in the development of UST. So I don't want to lose the train of my thoughts, so I won't answer your comments right now. So this Admix Reality tool is a very effective tool. Now we are launching the second wave of the focus group. We have already people enrolled. It will be very soon launched, the first training session. And right now, we are preparing for a payment method for people to be able to pay for that training. And you will soon see a package in the back office, and the start of the training itself will happen on the 28th of October, but I'm not sure we will be able to create the payment solution, payment method before the start. So I'm not sure the training will start on the 28th of October, probably a little bit later. So you still have time to make it into the second focus group. For that, you will need to join the Telegram channel in the chat. You can see the first introductory kickoff meeting that Dmitry and I had on this Tuesday, literally 4 days ago. So, dear colleagues, I was disconnected. I lost the connection. So I hope you can hear and see me now. Friends, give me some feedback, please. Okay, thank you. So where was I? So I was saying that you can watch the the recording of the kickoff meeting in the Telegram group, see what we're talking about there, and then make the decision whether you want to participate in that training or not. But I'm sure 99% of our partners will make a positive decision after watching the recording. because a lot of good feedback from active users of that app, of the former users. So you still have time to join the channel, watch the recording, and then start doing some active work. So right now, dear colleagues, in other words, you are preparing the grounds or laying the foundations for your active work once the Micron Global platform is launched. And your partnership network will grow exponentially because this tool, this app that is made available to all of our partners cannot fail. It makes sure that your team grows exponentially because in the past we had to spend hours to make the presentation of our technology, hours to explain them everything, to convince them to become investors. Thanks to that tool, it will take you 3 to 5 minutes for the person to be involved and then onboarded to make a decision. And how to do that, how to do those short meetings and what buttons to push, we will tell you, Dmitry and I, during our training, and we'll share our practical experience. So friends, do not miss out on this opportunity. And I would like to read out some of the comments that I saw. So Natalia wrote, any advertisement activity usually takes 10 to 20%. So it's usually 10 to 20% the commission in insurance company, for example. Here we have a unique opportunity to make more. You're right. You're right, Natalia. Go and see like international insurance companies like Vienna Insurance Group, which is almost 200 years old. Then we have other companies, like also more than 100 years old. They all use the services of their insurance brokers with their own commission structure and career ladders, and people making quite a lot of money. And in crowd investing is very similar to that. There is a technology that used to be an innovation, and now it's already an established, viable technology. It's now an innovative technology. And there is a crowd investing platform to help raise money to fund that technology. And Micron Global will have enough work or enough projects to raise money for in the next 20, 30 years. So when you when you enroll in the focus group, you are prepping yourselves for a very fast start once Micron Global is launched, which will reflect positively on your commission and the growth of your team. We will have very big, large-scale events happening in 2026. A lot of noise will be made also in the development of the train transportation technology, but it will be possible only if we are actively involved in raising funds for GTI, because right now is the most important stage, which is the going into the market stage. This is where crowd investing simply has to support the technology because we've helped create this unique product, this unique sector, this unique sector forming project invention. And it is also our duty right now to make sure that we give it a boost. And by boost, I mean regular, continuous in financing through crowd investing. I hope we all understand that responsibility. And right now we have a very good discounts in the back office, promotional discounts that can be as high as 144. And this is an awesome opportunity to increase your personal portfolio. And the more pre-IPO shares you have, the bigger your dividends are going to be from your being co-owner of the technology. And as for 2026, 2027, if you have, for example, 100,000 pre-IPO shares for just $1 or $2,000, you can increase your portfolio several times over, 2, 3 times, which means that in a couple of years you will be receiving way more money or returns on your investments compared to what you have right now. Of course, all of it is going to be possible if GTI makes a positive financial performance. But from what we can observe, that's how it's going to be. So, colleagues, let's be very responsible right now and take advantage of the current discounts, because once Micron Global is launched, the discounts will never be as high as they are right now, especially for standard packages, but in general as well, because the technology is getting stronger, is getting on its feet, and will probably in the future need less support, which means they will be selling their pre-IPO shares for with smaller discounts. That's for sure. Okay, friends, I think we've had a very interesting meeting. We compared similar quote unquote projects. We saw that what we did, and we helped Dr. Unitsky create a whole new sector, and which is something unforeseen or not seen before. I gave you an example that just one car model took 5 years and 1 billion euros with already lots of expertise in the area. And we helped Dr. Unitsky create a new school, engineering school, create production facilities. So, colleagues, even with 2, 3, 4 hands, I wouldn't have enough fingers to list all the milestones and advantages and benefits of the UST technology compared to other similar inventions and projects in the adjacent sectors. So, dear colleagues, I would like to congratulate you all on being in the right place at the right time, and you saw that opportunity of becoming an investor in this project. And right now, we should all realize that is one of the most important stages in the development of the UST technology, and we have to help it. And we still have time until the end of the month to make advantage of the discounts, to enroll into the focus group. Do not miss out on this opportunity and be active. And I think next week, which is going to be November, if I'm not mistaken, the 1st of November. Yes. So at the next meeting, we will have already the announcement of the date of the launch of the Micron Global, and we will be getting more ready, I guess, technically. I think we'll have a whole meeting dedicated to the launch of the Micron Global. Okay, friends. As for the link to the Micron Global website, it will be available in the official news. Right now, we already have a test version deployed with the same domain name, but not yet in the production. And now we are improving the marketing plan for you, and there will be some to make sure that everything works flawlessly. So, dear colleagues, everything is going as it should. So, unfortunately, it took us a long time, but it's better for it to take longer than for us to, suffer from mistakes. So thank you very much for attendance. We had 130 people today. Thank you for your time, for your attention. See you in 1 week, same time. So, because regardless of anything, we've still had quite active meeting today. in such an atmosphere, in the field, in the open, outside. I'm here. So nothing can stop us. Nothing can prevent us from going forward. Okay, colleagues. Thank you, everyone, and see you in 1 week. Bye bye. Have a nice evening and have a nice day off.